Hi everyone, it's Phil here from Ashland Leather, and I'm going to show you some leather that I have never seen before, including this beaver tail right here. And we're going to look at some brand new Color 8 Dublin as a potential option, and then a bunch of different wallets and other leather goods that we're shipping out today. So last week we had a local maker come by, and they're working with some beaver skin, and it's very interesting. And you can see I have 3 different pieces on the table here, and I think the first thing that stands out to me about this, number one, the shape is pretty obviously a tail, but then we've got the scale pattern in here. And let me give you a close-up look. Now the scales on this tail are very interesting. It almost reminds me of reptile scales, but what's also really interesting is it kind of looks like fish scales. There's actually little bits of area underneath each of these scales, sort of like a fish scale would be. And I'm kind of surprised by that. I didn't realize that beaver tails had this amount of texture in it. And the other really interesting thing about this, and this surprised me, is it kind of reminds me of shell cordovan a little bit. Number one, because of the shape of it, it's that same sort of oval shape as the shell. But if you look at the backside here, this is where it reminds me of the shell. You can see that the fibers are a little bit more dense towards this area of the skin. And then when it gets out towards the edge, you can see there's much less density in those fibers, and that's the same sort of effect that we see on the horse butts, where the shell cordovan is. It's much more dense like this and a little bit more fibrous where the shell ends, and it kind of reminds me of the same feel of shell in this beaver tail here, which is also very surprising. You can see we have 3 different sizes here, and it's also very surprising to me just the range of sizes here. So this one is very, very small. I don't know if I have any product that would be able to be made out of a tail of this size, and something larger like this we might be able to make into a couple things, but I'm not really sure if we're going to be offering this. It's just an idea from a local partner. He might be wanting to do some collaborations with these beaver tails. And the other really interesting thing here, this is actually the rest of the animal. This is the beaver skin. And I was looking at these, and it definitely has a distinct characteristic. Now this texture is embossed, but the grain character itself kind of reminds me of the ruggedness of a horsehide. But the finish on this one is very heavily finished too. So it's a little hard to tell what the natural character is of a beaver hide, but you can see the size of it is very, very small, which is going to make it tough to work with for a lot of different patterns. So this beaver tail is very, very interesting. I've never seen this before. It kind of reminds me of a cross between shell cordovan and maybe like a fish skin, or it actually kind of reminds me a little bit of stingray leather. So if you're familiar with that, it's sort of the same vibe here. So I wanted to ask you a question here. So our most popular leather is the Dublin leather, and specifically it's in the English tan Dublin. So we've been trying to make other Dublin offerings, and this is a sample that I've received actually from Dan, who wrote on here. This is Color 8 Dublin. We're trying to match the shell cordovan color on the Dublin leather, and it's pretty interesting because the Dublin leather was actually derived from shell cordovan from the pit tannage formulation. It's that same tree bark formulation put into the sides of leather, and then they put a wax coat finish on it. That's how the Dublin is achieved. So this color is pretty dark. It's a pretty dark brown and has a little bit more of a vibrant sort of eggplanty, reddish, dark brown color underneath. And I'm wondering if maybe this is a little too dark. So here's a Color 8 shell cordovan Bugs Moran on the right. You can see the shell cordovan has that directionality in color. So some angles it's a little bit more red, other angles it's a little darker, like on this angle here. But when I compare it to this Dublin, I'm wondering if I want to make it a little lighter, a little bit more red. But I'd be curious to see what you guys think, because we don't have any dark brown colors, especially on the non-shell cordovan. This might be a good color, but I don't know if it's true Color 8. All right, let's take a look at some of the wallets and other leather goods that we're shipping out today. I want to start off with this guy here. This is a wallet that we haven't made in quite a while, but this was a special order of a black and teal Johnny the Fox. And this is a wallet that sort of put us on the map a bunch of years ago, and we haven't made them in quite a while. I should probably make another batch of this because I really like this combination with the black Dublin on the exterior and the teal Latigo on the inside. And we have a few more Johnny the Foxes that are shipping out today. This is another special order with 100% black shell cordovan. You can see that really nice sort of sleek shine to the black shell. I just love the way that the black shell cordovan looks in the light. It sort of has like this futuristic look, the way the light hits it. And on the inside of this one, here's where the customization has come in. We have no stamping on the inside of this, so it's a really cool stealthed out Johnny the Fox. All the edges are also stained black, so it sort of lends more towards that stealthed out look. Here's another black wallet, but this is the non-shell cordovan counterpart. And this is, again, that Dublin leather that we were talking about earlier. And I wanted to bring back the Color 8 Dublin here to compare to the black, because sometimes this darker browns don't really show up on camera as well as I'd like. Sometimes they appear black, but when you put it next to a black, you can definitely see more reddish tones in this Color 8 Dublin. On the black Dublin here, to me, this is the most interesting black leather around because of all this natural grain character that we see on the outside. And we're able to see this because all of the Dublin leather has an aniline finish to it. That means there's no paints or solids in the stain coats of this, so you can see right through to the natural character of the leather. And on the inside of this one, we also have this all stealthed out with black horsehide latigo on the interior of this Johnny the Fox. All of the edges are hand waxed and burnished, so they also have that black look because this Dublin and the horsehide latigo on the inside are all struck through leather. And struck through leather, if you've never heard that term before, that means that in the drum they add penetrating dyes that go through all the substrate of the leather, and it strikes through the dye all the way. So you can see on the grain side and on the flesh side that same black color. Here's another really neat custom Johnny the Fox. This is tumbled natural Chromexcel. So we get this really interesting texture of the tumbled Chromexcel, and it's a little bit lighter in color because of the tumbling action. On the inside of this Johnny the Fox, we also have tumbled natural Chromexcel. This is a really cool fox. I've never seen one just like this before. Now here's a great comparison. This is a Fat Herbie, our flagship wallet, also in natural Chromexcel, but this is the straight up smooth version of Chromexcel. So comparing that to the Johnny the Fox we just looked at, see the texture of the tumbling that has happened on there? Some people really like this look. It definitely makes it a little bit more unique. But the smooth version here is more of the classic look. This natural Chromexcel is the most popular Chromexcel color that Horween Leather makes, and you can find this in all sorts of footwear and boots. Up next, this is a Frank the Enforcer and a beautiful piece of English tan Dublin. And the English tan Dublin is that sort of vivid light tan shade, with a little bit of orangey redness to it. And I really love the English tan Dublin. I think this is my favorite leather color right now. We're actually clearing out this hot stamp on the Frank the Enforcers right now. I'm putting up a couple different colors on sale, pretty good discount, but we're going to be replacing this stamp with a little bit more of a minimalist version on the Frank the Enforcer. And speaking of new stuff, we've got some one-shot card cases up on the website. This is the most minimalist front pocket wallet that we make. There's not a whole lot to this. It's just a one slot in the center here. I like to hold about 6 cards in this. You can really load it up and stretch it out. The leather will conform to fit more cards than 6, but I think 6 is about the sweet spot. So we've got English tan Dublin available. There's actually 8 colors total. And here's another one of those 8 colors. This is reverse black shell cordovan. You can see the reverse black has all sorts of color dye on it, just little bits of dye marks, different stains. And the reason we do this is to show off the Horween ink stamp and all of these random dye marks. Also, the reverse side of the black shell cordovan is all random, so sometimes they're a little bit darker and more green like this, and sometimes they get a little bit lighter. And one more one-shot card case to show you. This is a hatch grain color number 4 shell cordovan piece. I think this is the last one we had available, and this was from a special small batch of one-shots we did earlier this year. Let's take a look at another English tan Dublin piece here. This is our Capone money clip. And the reason I like the Capone money clip is we have these exterior card slots, which I find to be really useful for going to the store. I find these card slots to be really easy to use as opposed to the ones on the inside. I like to put my lesser used cards on the interior of the Capone. Here's another great piece of English tan Dublin. This one is on our Bugs Moran. The Bugs Moran is just like our Tony the Ant wallet, but does not have the bill slot on the outside. So we have these same 4 card slots on the inside. The great thing about this guy is these larger 2 card slots will hold US dollars folded in half. Here's another Bugs Moran in the classic color number 8 shell cordovan. It's that dark brown burgundy shade, and we looked at this one a little bit earlier. What's unique about this guy is we have a reverse interior, again, to show off all these random dye marks. And you can see the reverse color 8 is a little bit more of this orangey tan, little bits of yellow to it, more of like a sand color. And the dye marks are a little bit more of like a burgundy shade. So here's a great opportunity to show you the 3 lightest shell cordovan colors. Up first is the natural shell cordovan, and take a look at the incredible texture on this natural shell. Now I say texture, but it's more of a color texture. This is very, very bright and smooth. You won't feel any of the way that this looks. It looks a little bit textured, but that's sort of just how the shell looks on this one. So this is the lightest shell cordovan color. So let's compare the natural shell cordovan here with the whiskey shell cordovan. And you can see the whiskey shell cordovan is much darker and more brown. I find it to be a little bit more of a golden color. And the third light color, this is my favorite shell cordovan color. This is amaretto shell cordovan. You can see that amaretto shell cordovan has a lot more orange in it, and it kind of reminds me of the English tan Dublin that we were looking at. And here's another natural piece, but this is again the natural Chromexcel on the Bugs Moran. It's fun for me to compare these two natural colors. So the natural Chromexcel on my left and the natural shell cordovan on the right. Both of these have no stains applied to them. So the color that you're really seeing is just the color of the hide with the oils that have been tanned into it. So you can see much more of an earth tone color on the Chromexcel, and that's because the oils and waxes are a little bit darker that are put into the Chromexcel when compared to the shell cordovan. And the last item of the day, another natural Chromexcel piece. This is one of those items that's on sale right now, so a nice little discount on a natural Chromexcel Frank the Enforcer. And I do think we have a couple of these natural Chromexcel Frank the Enforcers still available at the time that I'm recording this video. So if you're interested in this one, you can pick this up on our website. Thanks again for checking out everything in the video today. And everybody that's picked up a wallet, thank you for supporting us. And I can't wait for you to have these. Check out this beaver tail. This is really exciting for me to see new stuff. I've been seeing leather just about every day for the last 15 years. So when I get to see something new, it's really exciting. Let me know what you think about this beaver tail. And maybe tell me what you think about this color number 8 Dublin. I think this could be really exciting. Until next time, I hope you guys have a good one and take care.